Support coordination was a new support with the introduction of the NDIS. It is funded in an individualised way and is generally for the participant with more complex needs. Does the NDIA have a formal framework on the role, scope and function and delivery methodology of support coordination?
Thanks, Senator. We'll invite Deputy CEO Penelope Mackay to the table.
Thank you.
Thanks, Senator. It's Penelope Mackay speaking. I have responsibility for thinking about support coordination at the NDIA, and as you say, we have been looking at support coordination. It's featured in the recommendations of the NDIS review, and one of the things that we've been working on is more clearly articulating the roles and responsibilities of support coordinators. It was one of the measures that we got funding for in last year's budget to update our guidance and provisions in relation to that. So what we've articulated is the 4 key roles that a support coordinator should undertake, which I can spell out if that's helpful, but just I think the purpose of your question more was to say, are we looking and provide a clearer guidance to the support coordination market on what their roles and responsibilities are?
Well, thank you, Ms. Mackay. My specific question was, do you currently have a formal framework for the role, scope and function and delivery methodology of support coordination? Do we have that now?
What we have is in the planning decisions that get made, we make an assessment around reasonable and necessary and whether or not support coordination is reasonable and necessary and how much. And then we have an articulation of what the roles and responsibilities of support coordinators are. So if that's what you mean by a framework.
The answer to your question is no. So the work
we don't currently have one.
That's right. So that was the work that we committed to out of last year's budget. I'll just quickly go through the key deliverables if it's helpful.
No, that's all right. I'm just conscious of time.
Sure.
It was just, I didn't believe you had one. I just wanted to confirm that was still the case as of now. So you've done that. Thank you. Can you tell me whether the NDIA provide any delegated authority to support coordinators as of now?
I don't think the Act would allow us to do that, Senator. That we can only delegate functions and powers under the Act to APS employees.
You are correct, Mr. Swainson, absolutely. So can a support coordinator act on behalf of the NDIA in any capacity?
I'm sorry, Senator, I don't quite get the question.
Well, you've just articulated that they are not able to be a delegated individual under the legislation.
They can't
exercise.
Yep. So they're not decision makers, are they? And they do not take directions or orders from an NDIS participant or from the NDIA. That is not part of their role or something that you were able to do under your legislation, is it?
Obviously there's code of conducts that exist.
Absolutely, there are.
It's our role to always remind them of their
Yes.
obligations under that, which we do regularly.
Absolutely. So given support coordination can deliver a wide range of different functions and can look like anything from helping a participant to understand their plan, connecting participants to formal and informal supports, engaging in community and mainstream services, and many other examples of what this role can actually be. Does the NDIS provide any guidance on how support coordinators should prioritise their time within the allocated funding?
We provide guidance and we offer training to support coordinators on their roles and responsibilities.
Yes, but that is not the same as their time, how to manage their time, given this role can be so varied?
That's
Do you provide anything specifically around how they should manage their time?
not how they should manage their time, no, just in terms of what's in the plan around what is considered to be a reasonable and necessary amount of support coordination.
I ask this because I've heard concerning stories from support coordinators about the pressure that they feel from the NDIA to deliver more functions to support participants than they are able to complete within their budgeting hours. How is the NDIA addressing this issue?
I'm really sorry because the captions are just a bit laggy.
Of course, yes.
So as I've said, we are putting out more data or information to clarify what the roles and responsibilities are. We've undertaken a lot of training, and over the years we have seen an increase in the amount of support coordination that has been in people's plans. So that's a factor that is relevant to this discussion too.
Under NDIA policy, is a support coordinator able to block requests from participants to use their funding in any way?
Sorry, is support coordinator able to block?
Yeah.
No.
No, they're not, are they?
No. Can I just say though, Senator, I've heard anecdotally what the previous comment you made. Obviously, as part of the pricing review, we look regularly at what is happening with support coordination. What I'm seeing more often, and it goes to the changes we need in Section 33, is support coordinators making decisions after we've already made a reasonable and necessary decision about someone's plan that they would like to deliver more services. And that is what we need to slow down the moderation of growth in this scheme, because once we've made a reasonable and necessary decision, a support coordinator cannot make a decision to provide services that are not in that plan.
Putting aside proposed Section 33, there was what you have stated for us, CEO, is the blatantly obvious from the Act, which is that support coordinators are not able to block requests from participants to use their funding in any way. And it is in that context that I ask, and have had a long time to wonder, why there was an email sent to support coordinators by the NDIS recently that instructed them, that included the instruction to, quote, support coordinators should not allow plans to run down before seeking a plan assessment, end quote. How do you expect they achieve that when approval or rejection of funding choices is completely outside of the scope for a support coordinator?
I don't agree it is completely outside of the scope of a support coordinator. A support coordinator is to provide supports to a participant to understand and help them manage their plan.
But they have no power to block a participant from making a funding request.
It's not about having a power. We were not asking them to take any power. We were asking them to exercise their obligations to assist participants in understanding. They have an educative role in understanding their plan and how a participant can spend their plan.
Ms Falkingham, I'm sorry, but the email is very clear. Support coordinators should not allow plans to run down before seeking a plan reassessment. How do you propose a support coordinator not allow that to occur when you have just confirmed for the committee they are not able to block
by
requests?
providing information, advice and education to a participant in relation to their plan. That is absolutely something that they can do.
Between that email and the comments of Mr. Dardo earlier